Dad, the police is here to take you away. My father has capacity, and he stated many times that he wants to stay here. He wants to die here.
Why would the OPP try to rip a man from his home of 67 years? And yeah, that man, he's 102. David Menzies for Rebel News here in Tillsonburg, Ontario, and I'm with John and Jonas Veritas. And folks, just imagine you're sitting in the comfort of your home, minding your own business, enjoying the company of your family, and there's an abrupt knock at the door, and you go to the door, and the uninvited guests are police officers with the Ontario Provincial Police. And the shocking reason they're making this house call is to remove your 102-year-old father from his house, a house he has lived in for almost 70 years. Evidently, the cops were acting on a court order. They wanted to relocate Jonas to a retirement home. Just one hitch. Jonas doesn't want to go there. And yet here was law enforcement demanding he come with them. And we have video evidence to prove it. Check it out.
Dad, the police is here to take you away. Donna wants you to be taken away with the police. Okay? You can tell the police officer what you want.
Where you gonna put me?
Come here. Come closer. Come closer.
I just don't go. They throw me out.
I can't really hear you guys. Can you just at least...
I'm not opening the door. I told you that. What don't you understand? You can break the glass and take them by force.
Like I said, we don't want to do
Well, then that's it.
the reason we're here, though.
Yeah, I know the reason you're here.
What is the reason we're here?
Because you have an order to extract them out of the house. Yeah.
So what we'd like to do is...
I know my lawyer here.
Just hang on. What did you say?
My lawyer comes, I go.
You don't have a lawyer. He says if his lawyer comes, he'll talk to his lawyer.
Now, it goes without saying, this was not a good look for the OPP. I can only imagine that the local detachment got flooded with calls, citizens expressing their outrage, because how else do you explain the fact that the OPP actually made their own video to give their side of the story? Here, check it out.
On Friday, April 3rd, Oxford County OPP officers attended a residence under the authority of a valid court order in relation to a family dispute involving the care of an elderly individual. At this time, no enforcement action has been taken. Police involvement in this matter is strictly limited to enforcing a court order and ensuring the safety and well-being of all involved. The OPP recognizes the emotional and challenging nature of family-related disputes involving the care of elderly individuals. Officers remain committed to acting impartially, lawfully, and with compassion, while respecting the authority of the courts. The OPP is also aware of misinformation circulating online. To be clear, the court order is not related to, nor does it involve, Canada's medical assistance in dying legislation made.
All of which brings us to Tillsonburg. When I first watched the video that was posted onto social media, and I'm sure a lot of people felt this way, I kind of felt like I was walking into a movie in the midway part. I didn't know who was who, what the plot was, and that's exactly why we're here today, to find out what prompted the visit of the OPP to extract your 102-year-old father.
Well, there's been a lot of things that have happened. So to start it all out, my mother died January 19th of 2020. We buried my mother, and then immediately a day or two after, my father went into the hospital. He had water on the lung. He stayed in there for about 2.5 weeks. He was discharged, and my sister had taken him. I wasn't aware. I wasn't informed. I thought my dad was in good care, and I had no belief that my sister would not give him good care. And she would go on holidays for 6 weeks at a time to Portugal. So you'd figure that, there might be a chance that I may be able to look after my dad or whatever, but that wasn't the case.
Your father, whether it's at your sister's house or at a retirement residence, he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be in this home. Is that correct?
At this point in time, yes.
Okay. And Jonas, can I ask you, is that a matter of fact? Is this where you want to live?
Of course, that's my home.
Okay, then. So you're happy here?
I'm happy.
Okay, then.
Of course.
Hey, folks, before I go any further, please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to Rebel News. Also, like and make a comment if you're able to. And hit the notification bell so that you never again miss another Rebel News video. And, of course, scan the QR code. You seem in good health to me, and that's not conjecture, gentlemen. I have in possession a medical assessment form from a representative of the Ministry of the Attorney General, and his conclusion regarding the health of Jonas was as follows, quote, "It is my personal opinion that Jonas Veritas has the capacity for management of his finances, property, and personal care," end quote. So if that's the case, why are the police being dispatched to enact on a court order, John, to extract your father from the place he wants to live?
Well, that's a real interesting dilemma. So they're saying that my father has severe dementia.
John, why don't we fast forward to last week, that disturbing visit by the OPP. I read the decision of Justice P.R. Sweeney of the Ontario Superior Court of Justice in Kitchener. And what I found a little disturbing was this line, quote, "A member of the police force may enter the premises with such assistance and force as are reasonable in the circumstance," end quote. Why I find that a little off-putting, John, it seems to be that the judge has given leeway to the police to actually kick the door down, if I'm not mistaken, and come in and forcibly take your father. They didn't do that, thank goodness. What did you make of that line?
Exactly what you've said. I think the police were trying to make me to consent to opening the door. But my father has capacity. There's nothing that can show that he does not. Mm-hmm. And I think when the police came, they could see clearly through the glass my father. They wanted to convince me to consent to open a door. Then they put their foot in a door. Well, talk to him. Don't talk to me. You want to talk to him.
I didn't call the police. Why the police here for?
Why is it? Did you hear that?
I didn't call. We didn't disturb any peace out. We are on the peace here.
Since my father has capacity, and he stated many times that he wants to stay here, he wants to die here. Yeah. And he's asked me, will you grant me that wish?
And who would want to prevent that wish from being granted? I don't understand.
And neither do I. I don't know what the motive is here. You know, me and my sister could have a dispute, but it's for the well-being of my dad. What does my dad want? Not what I want, not what she wants, what my dad wants.
Just minutes before we arrived at your farm, you said you received a phone call from the OPP. You said you'd have to call them later. Do you know what that might be in regard to? Is it they're still trying to get your father to leave?
Yeah, the newest order is that my father is to be apprehended and returned to Donna Victor. So we let him do as much as he can himself, and if he has some stumbling, a little bit of trouble to put a sock on, you know, because it's not straight or whatever, we give him a hand, but we force him to do it himself because that way he's independent and, you know, he's exercising his back, his muscles, bending over, otherwise you seize up.
Jonas, just to reiterate, you want to stay here in this house, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, then.
That's correct.
All right, then.
I built it, and I gave it to my son, and I want my life right in his house.
Well, folks, since we were in the neighborhood, I thought I'd drop by the OPP detachment here and just get further clarity from Officer Sanchuk. Well, the nice lady behind the counter said he's not at this detachment. He's at the Simcoe detachment, which is about an hour away, which is kind of odd. But he did say at the end of his video there would be no further comment to make. So I doubt he would have said anything anyways. And I think too, when it comes to apportioning the blame, I think most of it lays on the justice that issued that court order in the first place, not the police officers following through on that. And thank goodness they didn't break the door down and drag away Jonas against his will, because when I read what that judgment says, it looks like they were given permission to do so. So at least we don't have to worry about that. In any event, we're off to Cambridge now to see if we can speak to John's sister. Let's see if we can get her side of the story. Well, folks, here we are in Cambridge, Ontario. I was really hoping to get John's sister on record. There's always two sides to every story. We don't have any contact information for her, simply this house address. I rang the bell a couple of times, knocked on the door. Don't see any car in the driveway. Doesn't look like any lights are on. So I have left my business card with a message written on it asking her to kindly give me a call. When she returns, if she reaches out to us, I am more than happy to sit down with her and get her side of the story. In the meantime, let's hope for the best regarding John's father. This 102-year-old man doesn't want to leave the house. I can see no crime being committed here. He has capacity. We know this from the professionals that examine people like John's father. Can't we just leave this man alone in his remaining years? Can't we just let him enjoy his house with his son? I have never seen so many resources used to fix a problem that simply does not exist. Now, folks, we were able to make contact with Donna's lawyer. He said, unfortunately, due to a court-imposed gag order, that neither he nor his client, Donna, could come on the record for an interview. Suffice to say, in the weeks and months ahead, should those circumstances change, we will gladly look forward to having an interview with Donna and or her lawyer in order to get their side of the story. Hey folks, this incredible story, it's received zero media coverage as far as we can tell. I wonder why that would be. Regardless, we know you love it when Rebel News brings you the other side of the story, or a story nobody else seems interested in covering, but we need your help. Can you go to rebelfieldreports.com? That's rebelfieldreports.com, and if you're able to, kindly make a donation.